Hello and welcome to week 3 of the Stronger Gymnastics series. Things are starting to get exciting. If you haven't already seen week 1, make sure you start from there and go in chronological order, as that way you'll get the most out of this series. Thanks so much for all the comments last week. There was a lot of great feedback in there that I'll definitely apply to my training going forward, so I really appreciate that. As always, I'll now go through a few of the questions sent through for last week, and then we'll jump straight into this week's training. Adam Keifenheim asks, what is your total additional volume of workouts in addition to gymnastics right now? In total of all the physical training that I do, it comes to about 36 hours a week. This includes 6 hours of Olympic lifting training, 6 hours of bodyweight strength training, and about 45 minutes a day stretching, which comes to about 5 hours a week. Pafk asks, how much do you sleep? You look quite tired. Maybe a lack of sleep causes injury. I certainly respect sleep and I try to get 8 hours a night on average. Now when I go to bed ridiculously late, most of the time I'm able to sleep in very late the next day, so I still get the 8 hours of sleep. I am, however, willing to sacrifice 20 or 30 minutes of sleep in order to get this stretching done because, like I said, I'm really willing to try something new that I've never done before in the hopes that the result of my mobility improvements is better than it's ever been before. Zoltan Gonsalves asks, what exercise do you do for biceps? Zoltan, just so you know, mate, and maybe a few of your other commenters, if I don't reply to your comment, it's because I can't. You might have some Google Plus privacy setting so that I can't do it, so just have a look into that. For biceps, I don't do anything specific. Instead, I have strength goals that I want to achieve, such as planche or Azarian, and that just develops the biceps anyway. If you want to see exactly the kind of strength training that I'm doing, check out the Stronger Bodyweight Workout series, where we go through every single workout of a 6-week program achieving specific strength goals. Zalik Ramos asks, if I would start gymnastics, where would I start? What kind of skills should I acquire first? That's a great question. It's also very broad, however, so I can't properly answer it in this video. My general advice would be start with swings on each apparatus, as they're the basic fundamental skill that will lead on to so many other skills. On top of that, strength is obviously important. You also want good mobility, so start working on that. And a handstand is such an important shape in gymnastics. Having a good handstand is just going to make your progress through so many skills that much faster. Definitely find yourself a proficient gymnastics coach who can develop a program for you and oversee your progress, as that's going to be very helpful for you as well. That's all the questions I have time for this week. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them either in text or in person in next week's episode. Due to the ongoing shoulder injury discussed at the end of last week, I've had to since change my rings strength goal from Azarian, as I just couldn't train it without pain, and I'm not going to push through that pain, as that would just be foolish. Instead, my new goal is now full planche on bars. I can train planche without discomfort in the shoulder, which I'm very thankful for. This will obviously build up to full planche on rings, however, I'll start with the bars first as it's slightly easier. So now the moment that you've all been waiting for, let's get into week 3. Now that it's week 3, I'm really starting to feel pressure to make progress. I'm essentially already 30% of the way through the series. The focus for high bar today was top change. Ideally, I want to be completing the turn while in handstand. It seems so easy on the low bar. If I can just do this on the high bar, I'll achieve my top change goal. I warmed up high bar with some back and front giants. Front giants still really scare me. Currently, I'm just swinging through the handstand too quickly. This is likely because I'm subconsciously scared that I'll get owned the same way I have in the past. Top change was improving to the point where I could actually hang on and swing out of it. I was still just focusing on the turn alone at this stage. I was determined that next time I train this, I'll just man up and force myself to almost stop in a nice handstand before doing it. This should ensure I do a nice top change. This other angle clearly demonstrates how my shoulders are closing during the turn. They need to remain open throughout. I started today's pommel session with scissors, continuing to work on the smooth swing with straight arms. I'm still bending at the elbow, which is wasting a lot of power. I then moved on to today's pommel focus, the check. After last week's training, this was now feeling the best it ever has been. For these first two attempts, I was putting my left hand down the wrong way. On this attempt, I finally got it right. Once again, I moved to the buck to help nail the skill, as the feeling is the same, though the buck is a lot more forgiving than the actual pommel horse. These were starting to get more consistent on the buck, which I considered essential if I wanted to achieve it on the pommel horse. We again finished pommel on the floor pommel to help stretch and speed up my circles. This was a record number of circles for me on floor pommel. My vault is definitely improving, though I'm still getting very little pop out of the vaulting table itself. In preparation for the front somersault out, I started adding a punch front after the handspring. I was disappointed my hips weren't that high at the front of my flares. I want them to be Charles' height. You can see just how much difference the high hips makes. Harry gave me a really great tip. He told me to vigorously twist the hips outward before passing the first 90 degrees. Later in the week, flares were feeling the best they've ever felt. I'm starting to feel stretch and power at the front, which is an awesome feeling. My focus is to keep driving my hips higher at the front. Left leg splits is slightly lower than it was last week. Right leg splits looks about the same as last week. Middle splits is obviously not as low as last week, though this is due to the switch from the more passive to the active stretching. My muscles are not yet strong enough to support my body weight in the deeper middle splits, though this mobility will certainly increase over the coming weeks. I started this session on the P-bars with a focus on the back layout dismount. My swings felt a bit off as my body tension wasn't great today. I started with back tuck dismounts and then progressed to trying to keep them more open toward the layout shape.
Like skim the bar.
Front toss between boxes continued to improve today. I managed to catch two of them with a good swing through, though unfortunately not on camera. Charles said we'll be moving it over to the P-bars soon. I just have to improve my consistency.
You alright?
I've been working this same sequence consistently over the last few weeks. Each individual skill still needs to be perfected. Interestingly, almost all these skills will be improved as my mobility improves. For example, as my hip mobility improves, I will be able to do a press to handstand with straight arms. My handstand will become a lot straighter as my shoulder mobility improves, and my swings will become a lot smoother. Mobility really does help in all areas, and it should never be neglected. Unfortunately, planche felt weak today. I really am going to need to make some significant strength gains in order to achieve the full planche by the end of this series. We finished off the ring session with bales, forwards and backwards. Each consecutive session, I feel more comfortable in maintaining a strong body shape during the bales. I'm really happy with the progress on these front layouts, and I'm now just focusing on cleaning it up. I was happy with my power in these front halves, which have no doubt improved thanks to the front layout training. I'm still twisting too late, and as such, I can't land them square. Just about to head to the next session. Interestingly, after yesterday's session, I noticed when I woke up this morning, my calves they actually have DOMs, which I don't remember the last time I had calf DOMs. I've only just recently realized that I want to, in all my front tumbling, I want to sprint into it rather than I used to sort of jog into it. And I've noticed it gives me a lot more power, and I think that's essential for me getting the front half and also the front layout. So that's pretty cool. Obviously I've been doing it for a few years now, but still learning things like that are quite simple and perhaps obvious. So I am pumped for today's session. Shoulders feeling better every day now that I've been going easy on it again. Really can't wait until I can just smash it strength-wise. And yeah, life is pretty good. Very good. I started today's session by watching this incredibly inspiring video of E-level Pommel Horse skills, some of the hardest that exist. It was so inspiring with the epic music and the very cleanly done, ridiculously difficult skills. These really made me feel like a pussy, particularly being scared of check, which is only a B-level skill. Especially when you see guys doing a 360-degree check with just one arm. I can't explain how pumped I got watching this. I really, really love that inspired feeling. That inspired feeling is what got me into gymnastics, and it's what I push myself to achieve every single day. It is hard to do it, but I don't really know of anything better than that feeling. This video really pushed me. During the pommel session, I kept going back to my phone and watching parts of the video to keep myself in the zone. Staying in the zone wasn't as easy as I'd like, as there were so many kids around listening to their music, and that certainly wasn't matching the epic, intense focus that I had going on inside my head. All that focus paid off as I made huge progress in just this one session. Unfortunately, this pump-up video has since been removed from YouTube, so I can't provide a link. I was so inspired by this video, there was no question I was starting today's session on pommel. I warmed up with sets of approximately 10 circles, focusing on stretching them out as much as I could and making them as clean as possible. I was 100% determined to achieve check today, no matter how many attempts it took. I attempted these checks relentlessly. I kept imagining the music in my head while I was circling, which gave me incredible focus and determination. I know it doesn't look it, but swinging all of my body over just one handle was actually pretty scary for me. So every attempt, I was forcing my body to do something that it didn't want to do. The music in my head almost shifted any fear or concern I had, so it really helped me get in the zone. In between some sets, I did train the check on the buck to help reinforce the balance of the skill.
Head down to knee, straight leg. You can see your belly leg. Make sure you do.
The main things I was thinking about were trying to stretch the circles before the check, and then when attempting the check, to keep my ankles driving my body around, then getting my shoulders square with the pommel when my left hand connected with the handle. Thinking about just the first half of the skill really helped the second half as well.
Sweet. There we are. Philly, didn't even see it.
I was so satisfied to achieve the check. It was quite messy, however, so I finished the session focusing on clean circles, trying my absolute hardest to make them cleaner and higher. I started high bar with kip caster handstand. This is a fundamental skill that leads on to more advanced variations. Seeing as I was getting comfortable with 5 reps of kip caster handstand, I took it to the high bar to attempt it without a spot.
There we go.
It was really satisfying to connect this to giants. I had an epiphany on clear hip circles today. The breakthrough was to hit a front lever shape, though with the hips touching the bar, before going under the bar. Thinking about this alone, I started shooting towards a handstand. I warmed up P-bars with swing to handstand. I focused on trying to keep everything really tight and maintaining a disc shape throughout.
2 more, 3, good. Very good, buddy. Now, monkey walk all the way across. Phil, same thing, monkey walk. Lift up, right up, monkey walk.
This was feeling better today. I'm getting my feet up faster, which is definitely the right direction. I still do need to push out and open my shoulders more.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that felt, yeah.
I started today's session working on scissor variations. The coach suggested I try rear support swings, and as you could probably tell, I'd never attempted them before. The key is to push the hips out at the front. This was a pretty tough morning session. I had heavy muscle soreness from the epic strength training that followed Thursday's session. I had this muscle soreness pretty much everywhere, but in particular, the lats, rhomboid, and rotator cuff, which I love getting DOMs in. The combination of muscle soreness and the fact that it was an early morning session made it more of a challenge than usual to stay sharp and tight. For this reason, I didn't do any check work today. Instead, I just focused on loops. I obsessively tried to keep my hips open more and more each set. I actually set the camera up to film every single set, and each time I'd come back to review the footage, I still wasn't pleased with the amount of stretch. I felt like I was stretching more. I'd come back and look at the footage and realize I still had a lot of work to do. So I was really harsh on myself this session, and it actually really did improve. I also realized that another factor to good circles is actually shoulder mobility. You need to reach your arms behind your back, not just under you. If you're reaching under you, your shoulders will be closed, and therefore your hips will also be closed. Again, this demonstrates that mobility applies everywhere. With this better shape, I wasn't actually able to connect any circles. Though if I keep working the shape, surely I'll start connecting them soon.
So I've got severe DOMs today. This is a nice challenge to try and do it really clean. I'm feeling kind of weak.
My round off felt absolutely terrible today. I knew that I was again diving into it, so I stepped it back to simply doing handstand pops. Sam gave me a great tip about sliding my hands along the floor before I pop, and it really helped me to come in lower, which is also what I need to do in my round off.
I'm off to the afternoon training session. That one this morning was kind of tough. The thing is though, doing that tough 4-hour session and then having a 4-hour break and then doing this afternoon session,
I feel so good in the afternoon session because I'm already really warm. You recall from Thursday's session how that Pommel Horse video got me so pumped, it pushed me to getting that check. The song from it is very cool. The song is called To Glory by Two Steps from Hell. Epic song. I remember actually someone sent me a message telling me that I would probably like these guys, Two Steps from Hell. So thank you, mate. I appreciate the suggestion, and you are correct. I try not to listen to them too much so that when I do listen to them, I'm doing something epic, and hence it has the effect. Anyway, so I'm going to be listening to it in the car on my way to this session. And today, in this session, I'm going to preempt it now. I'm going to get top change into giant. All I need to do, I think, is do a slow handstand through my forward giant. If I do it slow enough, I should easily be able to pirouette into a back giant. It's very simple, but it's very scary for me. And again, I think it's because of that previous time I got owned that's sort of scaring me. I don't even know, that's just stupid. I was arching my back there, I shouldn't arch my back anymore. So yes, I do not care about my fear. I'm going to get this top change. I warmed up this session with some front skills on the tumble track, starting with the front half out. Next, we moved on to some front layouts. I actually found it harder to drive my heels quickly due to the slow rebound of the trampoline. I also tried a few double fronts, as this is a skill that I eventually do want to compete on floor, and it's also great for your aerial awareness. I'm here with my boy Tyson, just messing around in this awesome tumble track. We've only just received this in the last month, so you can do so many things on here. It's really exciting. It just slows the surface down, so it's great for practicing skills you're not that comfortable with. Anyway, we are having a challenge, who can do the most backflips in a row, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's more like a whip.
Back whip, sorry.
Ah!
Nice. I think I was 12, yeah? Now that I was nice and warm from the tumble track, I moved on to the main event. The focus of this session was the top change into giant. I warmed up first with back giant. As always, I was trying to stop these front giants almost in a handstand, as this will make the top change very simple. To help me reinforce good form, I work top change on the floor bar. In this exercise, I can really drill the turn and the body shape without worrying about the giant that leads into it. I need to complete the pivot as close to the handstand as possible. If I can just do this exact movement on the high bar, I will achieve the top change. Finally, I felt ready to start attempting the top change. What I really need to do to get this was simply hit that nice handstand in the front giant. I just need to slow it down a little bit, and when I'm almost bouncing in that handstand, turn out and giant out. Simple. This top change was so good. I just had to hold on and I would have got it for sure. Unfortunately, I was in a subconscious habit of letting go after the change. I was pretty annoyed at myself for not holding on. So I vowed that I'd hold on to the next one no matter what. I'm on my way home from the session, and man, am I disappointed. I couldn't do it. I spent about an hour and a half just trying to get it. I'm disappointed. I really want to show you guys that you can achieve a skill if you just push yourself hard enough and spend enough time thinking about what you need to do and then committing to doing that. No matter how scared you might be or how uncertain, you just need to hit that next level. And I think that can help you achieve greatness because you'll progress a lot faster than if you're always trying to stay in your comfort zone, taking the normal amount of time to get a skill rather than sort of pushing yourself into some area that you're not at all comfortable to achieve it in a much faster time. You can see on that last one I held on, I just wanted to get it, but the problem was I didn't get the right body shape over the top, so I just couldn't feel a tap for the giant. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm training again tomorrow. I think I'm going to dedicate that whole session again to this. It's a good apple. It's a 3-hour session. I'll start off with a bit of stretching, maybe a bit of warm up on the tumble track, and then I'll probably dedicate 2 hours to trying to get this top change. So what do you think? Am I going to get the top change this session? Leave a comment below of your guess. I really enjoyed this style of warm-up where we all just throw skills on the trampoline. You really work up a sweat, get the whole body moving, and at the same time it's just pure fun. I always really enjoy training with Dan. His more difficult skills always inspire and push me. Finally, I was starting to land the front half square, with my feet at least. This extra height means it should be a simple skill as I've got so much time to do it. Once again, I started high bar today with the floor bar to reinforce the feeling of the ideal body shape. I then altered between warm-up sets of giants and top changes on the low bar. I wasn't actually very happy with these low bar pivots today. My body felt a bit loose in general when it should feel tight. Today I was determined to hold on after every single top change. It was great that I was doing this, but unfortunately my shape wasn't good enough to giant out. Even though I failed to achieve the top change today, I was happy with my determination as I held on to the bar on every single attempt. I was man enough to keep going for it, though I'm just not ready to do it yet, as I wasn't getting better with every consecutive attempt. The main problem is my body's going really loose, which isn't going to get me anywhere. My confidence is rising, however, which is very important. That was such a good session. Even though I didn't get the top change like I desperately wanted to, it was so much fun. So good training with Danny Mansfield. He's always so pumped up. He has some awesome music. He's got a really good attitude. So much fun training with a guy like that. Even though I failed to get it today, I'm happy and I'm pleased with my progress. I'm not sure if I'm on high bar now. I'll be thinking about if I want to keep going for top change or focusing again on things like line change and clear hip. Sometimes it helps if you focus on a skill a lot, then you focus on a different skill and come back to that other skill. It can really help having a little break, just somehow your brain's had time to process the skill. So I'm loving it. That's the end of week 3. 30% of the way through. Kind of a scary thing to think about, but also motivating. So I'm really loving the training and I'm excited for week 4. The definite highlight from this week was achieving the check. Please ask any questions you may have and I'll try to answer them in next week's episode. Make sure you subscribe to be notified of new videos, and remember there'll be a new episode every Thursday. See you next Thursday for week 4 of the Stronger Gymnastics series. Huh? This is how you pick up when you're cruising around. Oh, what? Oh, excuse me. Trust me, never had a serious girlfriend.